mean, Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like we got the all-tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I sure got 17, and like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Sharp a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. A couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's spit. Cruise. Grand salami to the boys. Finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time.
Hell yeah. Blitz, Bama Blitz.
Thursday morning, welcome in. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by R&B Builders, live here on this Thursday morning. Appreciate you starting your day here with us. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. Billy Inbody going to be here as we're going to talk recruiting. State championship football gets going today inside the Dome. We'll ask Billy who the
top prospects are inside the Dome this weekend, what commitments we'll be looking out for, and Gabe Relaford making his announcement tomorrow. He'll make it official up at Evangel High School as the top defensive tackle after the rankings were reshuffled late in the year. Relaford is the top defensive lineman in the state, is going to make his announcement tomorrow. I saw where Billy made his prediction and has Relaford coming to Baton Rouge to play for LSU. So we will ask him what he anticipates coming up here and the other prospects that are out there, as well as LSU will look to close strong here on the class of 2024. As always, we're live here at Click Here Digital. If you want to learn more about Click Here Digital, you can go online at clickheredigital.com. Direct digital marketing plans that you can learn about. If you want a direct contact, you can hit me at Jordy at clickheredigital.com. And we will also talk about Mike Denbrock getting a new contract yesterday, as Denbrock was inked to a new deal after it was reported, I'm getting this from Football Scoop, that Texas A&M was in hot pursuit of offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock for their play calling position before they settled on Colin Klein from Kansas State, as that was reported. LSU finalized a 3-year extension for the Broyles Award finalist, who netted that contract worth $1.5 million a season. So the new financial terms have not been disclosed, but Football Scoop was reporting that A&M's offer to Denbrock would have made him the highest-paid offensive coordinator in college football. That being joined by Clemson's Garrett Riley, Ryan Grubb up at Washington. Both those guys approximately make about $2 million apiece. But after LSU's offensive output this season, where it looks like Jaden Daniels is going to take home the Heisman Trophy, and the Tigers led the country in total offense, yards per play, and scoring, the OC, Mike Denbrock, was a hot commodity, and Mike Elko made a run at Denbrock, it seems, as Football Scoop was reporting that, and Denbrock getting 3 more years extended onto his contract from LSU. So
Makes
some
sense.
early news there.
Yeah, it makes sense why the contract was, well, he was extended, right? Kind of came out of nowhere, where you had Brian Kelly pretty much at the presser saying, we're going to evaluate our staff, hasn't really made any announcements. We're still going through. Wait. Y'all ain't taking Denbrock. Hold on. As soon as pressure's over, Mike Denbrock, 3-year deal.
I need my boy.
Yeah, you ain't coming to get him.
Right.
I mean, but that's an A&M play. That's what they do. Then I feel like I guess you could say they settled for Colin Klein, but I still feel like that was a good hire. But it's always nice when somebody tries to come get your guy and he stays home.
Yeah, it was good for LSU to keep Denbrock.
Ooh, Baton Rouge have been on fire.
Lose him to A&M?
Well, you lose Mike
I mean,
Denbrock.
the A&M just lost to LSU.
What do they have?
Money.
Yeah, but if you would have lost
The Brinks truck.
you lose Denbrock, but keep Matt House.
Right.
Oh, God. The melt in this place.
Yeah, Denbrock's like, I feel like I got some leverage.
No, good for Denbrock. I mean,
Absolutely.
you knew he was going to capitalize on this either way. I mean, there had to be some incentives in his contract that he knocked down this season as far as the rankings would go. I mean, it's, you have a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. You've got an offense that's leading the country, and really every statistical category that means anything in football from an offensive standpoint. I mean, LSU is at the top of the list. So, I mean, Denbrock was going to capitalize on it, and yesterday, as we said, finalizing LSU and Denbrock finalizing the extension on a 3-year deal that will keep him here for a while.
And the domino effect it would have had on recruiting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just at this point in recruiting, right? I mean, where you've got it seems like everything in recruiting lined up for the next couple of news cycles, right? Gabe Relaford, even starting last week with Keelan Moses. I mean, you get Keelan Moses last week, which is a huge announcement for LSU football and the class of 2025. Tomorrow, Gabe Relaford will make his announcement from the class of 2024. Then you'll have more announcements coming up of guys like Harlem Berry, who's set to announce on December 18th, the number 1 running back in the class of 2025. And then the overall top prospect in the country, Bryce Underwood, is set to pledge on January 6th. And all signs are pointing towards LSU. I mean, I saw where even like now the On3 Michigan page has Underwood going to LSU. In fact, there was like a crazy. Did you see this news earlier this week with Underwood, where like people were saying that he was in Michigan's quarterback room, like while like on a day like where Michigan was in there getting ready for the Rose Bowl, and a news station went to Underwood's high school, track him down in the parking lot. Underwood's like, I'm not in the Michigan quarterback's room. I was at school all day today. So like people up at Michigan are like, I mean, this thing's like getting like freaky, scary, you know, and
91%, 91.9% on the RPM from
to LSU.
To LSU.
Yeah.
And that's from the Michigan guys, huh?
Right.
Right. That's, I mean, what would that be in comparison to LSU losing, I guess, Perilou?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it'd be. You know, I mean, I guess, do you put Arch Manning in there?
Well, it never felt like he was coming to LSU, right? Just because if you're even somewhat an LSU fan, you know the Manning's history with LSU, and what happened was what was expected. Like, you were maybe in the mix, and it feels like Bryce Underwood was going to, like, was a Michigan auto take. Like, even for him, like, lives that close to campus, all of the above. But for Arch, it was like he's always going to go somewhere else. For Bryce, this feels like LSU came in and swooped him up and got him.
Yeah. No, it's, I mean, from losing a prospect standpoint, where Michigan is right now, I mean, they could potentially be playing in a national championship. You know, I mean, they're definitely in a Final Four.
Yeah, what else can you sell? What more can you sell?
Yeah, there's nothing more that you can really put forward.
That offense is
well, and
for the quarterback.
Yeah, it's boring.
From the quarterback standpoint, it's not what you want if you're a playmaking quarterback.
No, how many times did McCarthy throw it? I think it was like 3 games ago. He threw it 4 times in the second half. I mean,
I want to say he didn't throw it that much against Iowa.
Oh yeah, get me
like
out of here.
The last few games he didn't throw it much at all.
They hand that thing off and play defense.
Yeah,
that's old school LSU.
Shorten the game up and
get a turnover.
Keep it in front, 26-0.
And you'll see that's why they weren't get the number 1 seed in the college football playoff, and you see Alabama pop up in the 4th seed, and you're like, doesn't feel like we're the 1 seed in this scenario.
Did you see them like all sit back in their chairs? Like,
practice is gonna suck.
This is gonna be.
I mean, you're thinking you get Florida State with a 3rd-string quarterback, 2nd-string quarterback.
Do the right thing, committee.
Now you get Alabama with Jalen
Milroe. Hungry Alabama
that's ripped off 11 straight.
That's now feeling themselves, playing with confidence.
Enjoy yourselves, fellas.
Knowing that the storyline of Big Ten, SEC, I mean, this is literal strength on strength. If you go back and watch that SEC title game, the one thing that Alabama did from the start
that offensive line
was I mean, they brought it to Georgia from a physical standpoint.
Cole Kubelik has some great tweets of Alabama's offensive line just like.
And I would say the same on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
Like defensive line wise. I mean, they were shoving that Georgia offensive line back at the point of attack. I mean, that's just, you could see that Georgia has, like, halfway through the first quarter, they're like, fellas,
oh shit,
we're in a fight. Like, we hadn't been in one of these in a long time. Like, this thing is gonna be nasty.
Tighten that thing up a little
right
tighter.
Like, I mean, tighten your chin strap up. This thing is going to the last second of the 4th quarter, and Georgia hadn't been in that in a while. And I mean, it goes into what we've talked about of, you know, I mean, the schedule for Georgia. You thought at some point you're going to have to overcome it. And last season they had to do it, and it didn't happen until the Peach Bowl in the national semifinal versus Ohio State, where they got into a slugfest, right? And, you know, they were so good that they were able to outlast C.J. Stroud in Ohio State, beat them by 1, and then roll to a national championship. This year they didn't play anybody. They really didn't get tested. I mean, for as much as we want to talk about that Auburn game on the road, I get it. Like, it was a close game. I never thought they were going to lose.
They knocked Marvin Harrison out the game too.
Oh, in the
playoff last year.
Yeah,
they probably would have
game.
lost the game if they didn't knock Marvin Harrison out.
They were. I mean, because he was
He was
on it.
Well, yeah, that's what kind of put. I mean, whenever you talk about Marvin,
Kind of lost their way after that.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I think Marvin Harrison is getting a lot of credit this year for what he did last year, because you look at that bowl game and on a national scene where it's almost like Jaden Daniels in the Alabama game. Like, look how different they look without him.
Yeah.
Where it's this guy is invaluable, and a lot of that, I guess, conversation headed into this year, and he still played well, but with Kyle McCord in that offense, it wasn't the same. I mean, look what C.J. Stroud's doing in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's why Ryan Day is over there just pulling his hair out, because I can't
win with this.
He had Njigba, Marvin Harrison, C.J. Stroud, Travion Henderson, Garrett Wilson. Like, the list goes on. He can't win.
They were loaded.
And he's to his credit, he's lost 7 games,
Right.
but
3 to
Michigan, and I think the other 4 in the playoff.
Yeah.
Joseph Fine with a super chat. Gentlemen, hilarious story. My dad was at physical therapy yesterday in Montgomery, Alabama, and a therapist randomly said her pregnant sister was naming her child Jordy after Culotta. The show is exploding. Wow.
What an honor.
She says she don't give a piss about nothing but the tie.
What a name.
Well, the Culotta
Wow.
show.
Great story, Joseph.
I'll believe it, because I want to.
Yeah, right. We'll tell everybody.
If you'd have said Lloyd, it wouldn't have been believable. But Jordy, I can believe it.
Nice.
There you go. Is that the first time that's happened?
Congratulations to the family.
Yes.
We're gonna talk to Billy. Yeah, right. Hey, my hey. Hey.
Yeah, there's rumors swirling.
Promise. Billy's going to be here in 12 minutes. We're going to talk recruiting. If you have recruiting information, if you have any questions that you want in recruiting, make sure and get them in. We're going to talk. We'll ask you about transfer portal. Jordan Gilbert is somebody to pay attention to. Safety that's transferring out of Texas A&M, Baton Rouge native.
Gotta have it.
Was a university high grad. You would think defensive back. LSU is in much need of DBs. He's got SEC experience. Obviously, this is home. Wonder how much is trending there. We will ask Billy about some other transfer portal stories as well, and storylines that to watch out for. From LSU's standpoint, we saw some news yesterday. Jackson McGowan, the tight end, McGowan has entered the transfer portal for LSU. So he joins a list that includes a Terrence Welsh, Armani Goodwin. Who am I missing?
Terrence Welsh, Armani Goodwin, Trey Bradford. 2 running backs.
Bryce Langston.
Bryce
Langston. God, we can't let him go.
Damn.
Can't let him go.
Well, he's gone now.
If you love him, let him leave.
Yeah.
And now Jackson McGowan, the tight end, is leaving. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, this is about to be a crowded room at tight end. As much as that position was vacant
A couple years
at
ago.
LSU, you never had any threat there. It's now feeling like what Kelly has done to the offensive line. The tight end room feels as
That's his thing, though.
yeah, this is
Notre Dame had good tight end.
offensive line, good tight end.
Yeah.
They were consistent there. You even look down the line of, obviously Tre'Davious Green, who's gonna. I think he'll end this cycle as the number 1 player in the state
Yeah, we got to ask Billy about this.
when it's all said and done.
Like, what I got to do to be a 5-star? Does he have to do a backflip over somebody or something?
J.D. LaFleur in the 2025 cycle, who is obviously his dad, David LaFleur, was an All-American here and a first-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. Is out of Sulphur, Louisiana. He's pledged to the class of 2025. So
that's 2025 classes.
And what you still have in the room with Big Daddy Mac,
Yeah,
Mac
right.
Markway, and Mason Taylor.
That got him a touchdown this season,
he
coach.
did.
Don't forget about Pimpton.
Yeah, don't forget about Pimpton. Line him and Trey.
In fact, I believe Sherman Wilson
He did.
had a great tweet the other day. Pimpton was walking towards
The field.
towards the chute, towards the to run out at Tiger Stadium, and Sherman Wilson tweeted out, "Remember the name."
Mm-hmm.
And if you're tweeting out, "Remember the name" in that room, right? He must be standing out. And Kamorian Pimpton is a guy going into the season we thought would have a bigger impact. He's played a little bit. In fact, has he just played? Would this be his 4th game? Have they played him? Would he be a red shirt?
I think he would be. I think
so, too.
I think even if he's only played 4, this obviously doesn't count against your year. So I think
Mississippi State game.
Because you have seen him out there.
Yeah, he's been out there a couple times, but not too much.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. If he's not at 4, it would be or if he's played more than 4, I still don't see it as like somebody that you had to have redshirt. I think that once he gets on the scene and is able to play, he might be a 3-year guy anyway. So I don't think he really. The way that you saw like Shea would tweet out the games played tracker every week.
That's what I'm looking for.
And you could see that they kind of had an idea of who they wanted to stay and who they wanted to redshirt and think that could play. That they wanted to be here for the foreseeable future and who they had to play. And so I think they had a plan going into the year. And then obviously it got shaken up a little bit in the defensive back room where, okay, Stamps, now you got to play. Tiviano, you got to play. Where they were trying to sprinkle them in as four game guys. And then it became too big to ignore that these guys ain't redshirting.
I think Stamps for sure.
You're right.
Toviano, he was probably going to play regardless. Right. But they
even like a Kylan Jackson, I think they kept him at the 4, but you could see that
it was close.
We're running out of time, we're running out of players.
Yeah,
like we got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at it because we need a body.
It almost became a desperate situation.
Yep.
No, I was glad they were able to keep some of those guys on the kind of on the shelf for redshirt status because you could see that for the most part they weren't ready to go.
Yeah.
But guys like Toviano.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at that.
I just don't know how he was kept off the field.
On the offensive side, I understand. Like with the receivers, like with the young receivers, just let Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Kyron Lacey, let them play. Aaron Anderson, let them get their time, and then let the young guys, Sheldon Sampson, Jaylen Brown, let them watch.
No, I agree. I think the way now looking back on it, you're able to kind of make it through.
Mm-hmm.
The way it worked out and shook out.
Pimpton 7 games played.
Because I thought for sure,
7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought for sure Sheldon Sampson would have cracked the lineup.
Me too.
He had some early
Grambling
moments,
and there was a window there, kind of in the middle of the season, where you were looking for a consistent third wide receiver, and that's when Kyron Lacey might have had his best game.
Yep.
Was it against Auburn?
Yeah.
He
had 2 touchdowns.
He went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it solidified himself as that third guy because that was that when Hilton was out?
Yeah. Hilton got knocked out against Ole Miss in the last play.
That ball hit his
ball
hand.
went through his hands. Damn. It really did. It's a tough catch. By any standard, by any measure, but it's a catchable ball. Catchable ball.
If that game doesn't show you that Jaden Daniels is the best player in college football, I don't know what does.
They're holding it against him.
Because, they had, 30 seconds left when they got the ball back? Or, 45 seconds with a timeout? And he drives them to, the 30-yard line? Even to get a chance to throw it to the end zone with ease, not have to throw a Hail Mary is...
Yeah, that's the difference between, Isaiah Bond wasn't exactly a catchable ball.
It went through his hands.
It happens, but that's the difference in seasons where if Alabama and Isaiah Bond would make the play in the back of the end zone, you're not looking at them in a college football playoff. LSU makes that catch. Maybe you're still abreast with only you wouldn't have 2 losses. You'd only have the 1 loss to Florida State. Now you're kind of grooving into the year where we got our feet underneath us. We avoided dropping a huge game early on in the year. Now you're not fighting for losing 3. You're still very much in the fold of, okay, if we can keep winning, we're going to be in the conversation with this quarterback play, and that also has everything to do with the Heisman conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll tell you who they weren't trying to redshirt, Caleb Jackson. That man played every game.
Yeah, he did, and he should have.
Yeah. Look at him.
And that's where I think we could talk to Billy about this, but it makes you wonder what they're going to do in the running back room because Josh Williams has a COVID year, which is unbelievable.
It is.
And a blessing if he
Logan Diggs does too, though.
Yeah, and it feels like Diggs might try to capitalize and go to the NFL just because not a lot of tread left on the tires as far as a college football player. He played pretty much every year he's been in the league. Mm-hmm. So I could see him bouncing after one pretty good year, and especially with all the turnover, quarterbacks leaving, but I'd want to run behind that offensive line.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the offensive line, announced yesterday, Joe Moore Award finalist for the group. Obviously, a lot of accolades, a lot of attention coming in for this offense, and rightfully so. After all the numbers are in, after all the production is been input, all the data has been inserted. You see just how good this LSU offense was, and obviously Jaden Daniels getting a lot of highlights, a lot of attention. The wide receivers, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Will Campbell from an offensive lineman standpoint, but the Joe Moore Award recognizes the entire group, and LSU's offensive line is in the list of finalists of 3 that is up for the Joe Moore Award. All of these awards will be announced on Friday. Heisman Trophy will be announced on Saturday, where Jaden Daniels and LSU will obviously have a presence as well.
If Jaden gets the Heisman, they got to give the O-line the Joe Moore Award, right?
I would think just by the numbers alone,
Yeah.
now, like that LSU's off. It was kind of like 2019.
Mm-hmm. I think
the numbers were so – they were just so embarrassing.
Yeah.
They were so egregious that you were just like, how
do you not
recognize at least somebody?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to recognize somebody in this group, and I think the offensive line is going to – I think they take home this award.
Yeah, because I think they were the only offense that had 300 yards passing and 200 yards rushing a game this season.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, Jaden Daniels he's the leading rusher in the country. I mean, you're
RB1 and GB1.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like,
shout out to Josh Pate.
Shout out Josh Pate. I mean, that's where the debate kind of should start and end. But I'm still seeing that there's a columnist in Seattle that voted for Michael Penix.
They're putting Michael Penix up there too, dog.
I mean, I'm sure he had one. I'm sure he had 2 copies of this article written, one for Bo Nix and one for. It doesn't matter. Like it, And we were talking about the Heisman vote yesterday, and Jacques brought this up, and I thought it was interesting that he's like, some of these people already have their vote in. Like, once they saw 3 losses, they're going to pick whoever wins the Pac-12 championship. Like, some of the old guard, it's kind of like Major League Baseball and how they do their Hall of Fame, where there's not going to be a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer ever. And it's like, I'm pretty sure King Griffey Jr. should be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Like, who's going to vote him out?
I'm pretty sure Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. Like, I can understand if some people want to vote that way because of allegations.
Shaquille O'Neal, 2001.
Right. Yeah. Those type of deals where it's like, there just isn't one. It doesn't happen. Nobody can be a first ballot unanimous Hall of Famer. It's like, yes, they can.
Or they can.
I mean, Shaq should have been a unanimous MVP in 2000. If you go back and watch the league during that season, there was nobody even close. They changed the rules for Shaq. You could no longer play just man-to-man. They allowed you to play zone defense in the NBA because of Shaquille O'Neal. They Shaq-proofed goals in the NBA
they did have to
during this era. I mean, it was not even close. And some columnist in Philadelphia voted for Allen Iverson. Where, Allen Iverson was having a good year, but I mean, when it came down to it, I mean, it was different stratosphere. And it's just going to be like that. It's just, there's going to be, you have to account for Penix and Nix. The only thing that's good about them now is that they're going to split each other's vote.
Yep.
Last week it was about Nix getting all of the West Coast vote. Now that they're, it's splintered, this is really kind of just elevated Jaden Daniels in this run. Let me know when we got Billy, please. Remember, we're brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Couple of trucks on this side of the river each and every day, located in West Baton Rouge, but Jude Barker and the crew can help you. If you mention the show, they'll take 15% off any of the services that you need over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Work. 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. As we said, mention the show, save 15%. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, every single day sponsoring the show. We appreciate them. Located in Plaquemine with a couple of trucks in East Baton Rouge every day working on this side of the river. Jude Barker and the crew, Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, 225-776-2431. Mention the show, save 15% with Barker Brothers. All right, Billy coming up here in just seconds as we will begin our recruiting discussion with him. Really looking forward to what he has to say about Gabe Relaford, who is going to be committing tomorrow at school. As we said, Relaford is a guy now that has switched. Billy switched his prediction, obviously from Texas A&M, where Relaford decommitted from last weekend, to LSU, where he was on an official visit. There seems to be no confidence from anybody out in Los Angeles that he would pledge to USC. This feels like it's going to be LSU at the top of the list for the top defensive lineman in Louisiana. What does this do to Dominic McKinley is going to be an interesting conversation, because for both Relaford and McKinley, a lot of the commitment and the status with the commitment was built around Elijah Robinson. And in following a lot of what our friends over at On3, Billy, Shay, Sam, the crew do over there, was that Relaford, his family, very solid with their word, right? Like, they've told Texas A&M they were coming. That meant something to them. They had a deep relationship embedded with Elijah Robinson, and you started to see that shake up last week when Elijah Robinson took the defensive coordinator job at Syracuse. He was no longer in College Station. That really made Relaford's commitment very flimsy. After Jimbo had decommitted, or Jimbo had been fired, and Robinson was out, Relaford was back out there. And tomorrow he'll make his commitment. And as we said, Billy Inbody has shown his prediction that Relaford will choose LSU. And now Billy is joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Bill, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Good. Big one tomorrow for LSU with Gabe Relaford. This is a guy that I know within your organization has bumped himself up to the top defensive lineman in the state of Louisiana during this cycle, and LSU is in dire need of that position. You anticipate some good news here, right?
Yeah, we do. And Gabe Relaford is exactly what LSU needed in this cycle if he does indeed pick the Tigers. And, defensive line, that's all we hear about with this cycle, as far as what LSU needed to address. And that's why you keep playing out the recruiting game, the long way. You keep recruiting no matter what. You keep, trying to make inroads, and you hope that things pan out. And it looks like now with Gabe Relaford, things are going to pan out with LSU, which is great news, because he's somebody that brings some versatility to the front as well. He can play on the edge, kind of a strong side defensive end, but also play a defensive tackle spot as well once he bulks up a little bit more. He's got, great frame. He's got that production the past 2 years in Louisiana. And so I do think LSU is going to win out, and I think he'd be a massive, massive pickup for LSU.
Take me through his process, Billy, because I know that it was a big deal for Texas A&M to recruit him and offer him early. LSU was a dream school at one point for him, and really kind of had to make up a ton of ground here. How was LSU able to do that?
Yeah, Frank Wilson, Sherman Wilson, Matt House, J.R. Belton, Brian Kelly. The list kind of goes on in terms of who has really taken the ball and run with it as far as recruiting him. And, even with the uncertainty around the future of, the defensive line coach, we haven't heard definitively from Brian Kelly on that. That's why it took a whole staff approach. And I spoke with Gabe Sunday night right after he decommitted, and we had a story on it. And he just said once Coach Elijah Robinson left, that was something where he realized he shouldn't have maybe been putting a lot of his eggs in that basket in terms of his commitment to Texas A&M. And so that said a lot. That's a piece of why I think LSU is sitting so pretty here, is because they took such a whole staff approach with him. They really pushed for him to, consider them. And he made a couple visits this fall, and then they got his family down for the official visit last weekend. And, it was a difficult process for them, because they are people that would have rather have, made a commitment and been able to stick with it and things like that. That's just who they are. And that's who a lot of people want to be as well. But, changes happened in College Station, and that, creaked the door open even more for LSU. And by that point, they had been still recruiting him and showing him how big of a priority he was. And it looks like it's going to pay off. So that was kind of the process that they went through lately. Early on for LSU, it was just a matter of, all right, he is kind of a guy that could play strong side defensive end, could bulk up and be a D tackle. Where does he kind of fit for LSU? But ultimately, you've got to find players that can play, and I think that's something that Gabe Relaford brings to the table. Is he could produce. He's got a lot of projectable traits that are very high quality, and so I think that was ultimately why LSU moved on him this summer. And from there, it was just a matter of keep chipping away and keep trying to get in there and, build a relationship and all of those things.
Billy, are you able to get from the player standpoint what the message is from LSU side on the defensive unit, staff, coordinator on what it'll be, maybe with a commitment of Keelan Moses or talking to guys like Gabe Relaford of what they're hearing?
Yeah, I think those are conversations that they're having and they wouldn't share them with us. I mean, I think with Gabe realized with Elijah Robinson that, okay, changes do happen. I need to pick a place that I feel best at. And so I think if he does indeed pick LSU on Friday, like we're expecting, that's going to reflect that decision more so than, all right, who is going to be coaching me? Because who knows? There could be another change. There could be a change wherever he would have gone at his position coach. And so that's something that we're not finding out from them. But I think LSU is sharing some things with them and giving them a general feel for the direction of it and what they're going to do. And, if they do, in fact, know what they're going to do, maybe they tell them, maybe they don't. I don't know. But however they're pitching it and putting it out there to them, they're doing a pretty good job of it because they look, they've got a lot of momentum right now on the recruiting trail.
Bill, either way it shakes out, if LSU's able to land Gabe Relaford tomorrow, they get one of two of the top defensive tackles in the state. In my opinion, that's a win at this point. Is there an opportunity for them to get back in on Dominic McKinley because of the scenario that played out for Relaford? I mean, a lot of the stories that we've heard from both of these guys that Elijah Robinson was so big to the commitment, to the status of staying committed to Texas A&M and then ultimately going there. Now that he's out, is McKinley back up for grabs?
Yeah, I think with obviously he went to Syracuse. I think both these guys don't want to go all the way up there. So that's part of it in terms of why they're not considering Syracuse. But I think with Dom, they're a family that didn't really like the recruiting process that much, in my opinion, just from talking from them a little bit and hearing, just kind of how their approach was. They weren't a family that, was blowing up phone lines and talking with coaches all the time. And Dom's pretty low key. He's, focused on academics. He's a really good football player too, but just kind of a different approach they had to take with him. So, I think with him, it's always been a quiet recruitment. It's always been a recruitment that once he made the decision, he was pretty firm in. I am interested to see if he does make it to College Station in, the final decision and does sign and go there. I think the door is creaked open a little bit for schools like Texas, schools like LSU. They're trying to get in there and say, hey, come take a visit. Come, spend more time here and give us another look. He hasn't done that at any places. He is supposed to go to A&M this weekend, I guess, for an official visit after his state championship game, is over with. He'd go over there Saturday, but LSU does have time to maybe squeeze in an official visit the last weekend before signing period. So we are watching that. That is something that, they'd like for them to do, and we'll see if they do it. But they made their decision, a little bit more kind of, there was the Elijah Robinson piece was huge. Mason Smith was big. But they also, looked at, the whole totality of it. And you look at College Station, you look at Baton Rouge. Those are the two closest schools he really could have gone to, that are kind of true-ish college towns in a way. Austin was always kind of considered this big city that he didn't really like too much from just talking with sources. So it is kind of this balance here down the stretch of what do they do without any clear, relationship in terms of their defensive line coach. But they did make their decisions just a little bit more kind of with the academic piece of A&M inside in mind too.
Bill, a couple in the transfer portal that I know you gained some relationships with while they were being recruited. Walter Nolan jumped in the transfer portal and Jordan Gilbert in the transfer portal, both out of A&M. LSU was in on them during recruitment when they were coming out of high school. Where do you think they land here now that they're in the portal?
Yeah, Jordan Gilbert is one that I think LSU's got a really good shot to end up with, and Shea Dixon already has his on 3 RPM pick in on our side of things, and I'm not far behind him on that. And I think he would really help the safety room. He's a U-High kid who has been around the program a lot, and has relationships with guys on the team and things like that. He's also played a lot of football in the SEC. He was hurt this year. He got hurt early in the year, and so that kind of hampered him a little bit. But last year he was really, really good and trending in a great direction and was off to a good start this year. But he'd really help, again, kind of solidify that safety room. Not all transfers are going to be, just incredible impacts. But as long as you're getting really good, solid transfers, that's kind of the goal. So you can build depth, build talent, and help your overall team. And I think Jordan Gilbert would do that. Walter Nolan, I think his picture is a little less clear. I'm intrigued to see where he goes. He was a highly, highly touted player coming out of high school. He'd obviously help in a big way on the defensive line front for LSU. I think his picture is a little less clear, but I think all the big boys are going to be involved recruiting him and trying to bring him in for visits and get him to come their way. You
mentioned Gilbert's a U-High kid. Last week, University High prospect Keelan Moses pledged to LSU, shutting down his process, class of 2025, which looks like it's going to be a great class. What is LSU getting Moses, and what was that recruitment like?
Yeah, they get a great kid. I mean, he's one of our favorites to cover, to be around and talk with and all of those things. He's really, really bright and well-spoken. And obviously his brother Dylan went through the process and did that whole song and dance and obviously ended up at Alabama. This time around, Moses is staying at LSU to play for the home state. He is going to be a big leader in this class. That is for sure. He made no bones about it when talking with reporters after. He wants LSU to get the number 1 class. They do have a shot to get the number 1 class. If they can get a guy like Bryce Underwood in, keep a guy like DeCorian Moore, get Harlem Berry here later this month, do all of those things, they're going to be in position to do that. And Keelan is a good two-way prospect. He's going to play linebacker at LSU, but does play both ways for U-High a little bit. So he's got some good size to him. He's got a whole nother year to continue to get his body stronger and do all of those things. But yeah, they're getting a key piece to the future of the linebacker room for LSU.
How much was it was interesting to hear him talking about it. He did a great media session after the commitment where he really kind of explained everything, but he really resourced Dylan on this. And it sounded like he was a major player as far as somebody that he leaned on, and referencing his older brother Dylan Moses, who went through the process as one of the top players in the country and ultimately decided to go to Alabama. Had a fantastic career, but just injuries caught up with him during his college run. What did you make of his process of what he kind of learned from watching his brother?
Yeah, I think maybe some LSU fans that really hate on Dylan Moses a little bit should be giving him a little tap on the shoulder for kind of helping a little bit on this one. I think, Dylan may be realizing, how it could have been a little different post-career if he had ended up at LSU, and don't know if that would have changed any future in terms of or past in terms of injuries and things like that. But, Keelan saying that certainly kind of cleared up how big of a role that Dylan played in his process. And I talked with Keelan last spring, and he was saying that, Dylan is a good resource for him, and he can always kind of, share what he's feeling and get some feedback from him. And so, I think it's great that, they have that relationship, and obviously a little house divided now officially, but, Keelan Moses is somebody that I think did a really nice job of taking in all the information, taking visits. He took a lot of them. He was able to get to a lot of places. He got to Florida, he got to Texas, he got to Alabama, he took a bunch of visits, and then felt good enough to make an early commitment. And high-profile Louisiana guys like him don't always do that in terms of the early commitment. So for LSU to get him, for LSU to have Teron Francis, Brett Bordelon, JD LaFleur in terms of the Louisiana guys shut down early. That's big. They should be getting Harlan Berry, the number one running back in the country, here in about a week or so. That is really important and kind of out of the ordinary when it comes to high-profile Louisiana guys. So, Dylan probably shared with them, hey, if you're feeling it, shut it down, go for it, and that's what he did.
And then, Bill, a month from yesterday, we will hear from the number one prospect in the class of 2025 in Bryce Underwood. He's a quarterback out of Michigan, and it seems like, that it feels like it's all LSU. I mean, at this point, where do you see this thing finishing at?
Yeah, I agree with you. If there is some sort of trick he's pulling, and it's not a trick. He hasn't really named a leader, but he has visited LSU like 5 times over the last year, 4 or 5 times over the last year, made a game this fall, didn't get to Michigan until the Ohio State Michigan game and had to leave to prepare for a state title. And then he's not planning any visits until his decision. So, this would be not an all-timer, but kind of an all-timer if he goes elsewhere, because it just all the signs, all the buzz, all the things behind the scenes we hear are pointing to LSU. And gosh, it's kind of like a surreal feeling when you cover a program and they have a chance to get the number one prospect, and he's a quarterback too. It's just a game-changing, generational type of talent in terms of what he's viewed as. So if LSU gets this thing across the finish line, it's going to be game on for this 2025 class, and the future just continues to get brighter in that respect for LSU too.
Harlan Berry announcing on December 18th. Bryce Underwood announcing on January 6th. All signs point towards LSU there. Bill, today the state championships get going in the Superdome. Any high-level prospects that you are paying attention to? I know Calvary Baptist is playing there tomorrow with Simon, the other running back in that class with Barry of 25, but a lot of big-time football on display this weekend.
Yeah, Acadiana, Dominic McKinley playing Catholic High in the state championship, and that'll be a good one. Dom McKinley is in there, and his brother Darius for Acadiana, but also Blaine Bradford, the Bradford brothers, Jacob, playing there for Catholic High. They've got some talent, and then you look to the big dogs for LSU that are going to be playing in there, and Juwan Johnson, the record-setting quarterback for LCA, is looking to cap his career with a win over STM and State Thomas More. You mentioned James Simon and how they've been so impressive, but going up against now an undefeated St. Charles Catholic team, they'll look to get a state title, and then Zachary Rustin. So you'll have Trey'Dez Green and that Zachary team looking to beat Ahmad Bro and a lot of the talent that's over there at Ruston with the state championship as well. There's a lot of talent, as always, in the Dome.
Bill, I've just been paying attention to some highlights on social media the last couple of weekends in high school action, and the games have been fantastic. But locally right here, Catholic High has had some pretty big wins, and both of them have seemingly come down to the end. And I see Brooks Wright making plays for Catholic High, who I know is a UL baseball commitment. But when I watch him play, he's like 6'2". He made a play at safety last weekend for Catholic High where he had a big interception. He had the game-winning catch a couple of weekends ago. You know anything about Wright? I know he's a baseball guy, but, is he a possible dual sport guy when he gets to Lafayette?
Yeah, I don't know where his head's at on dual sport, but I do know Arkansas State offered him a football scholarship and like what they saw. I don't know if he's given any thought late to kind of flipping directions and going the football route. But, I'm with you. The thing that impresses me the most is that size. We talk about that. It's not hard to find. It's hard to find athletes that can move at that size. At a Division I level, some guys are kind of considered, raw or projects or this or that. Well, when you're making plays on both sides of the ball like he has, that's where it's impressive. And so I don't know if he's given the thought to playing multiple sports in college, but he is being a big factor down the stretch for Catholic High, no doubt.
Bill, have a great weekend. Great information. We'll be watching Rutherford tomorrow. Should be good news for the home team, and we'll catch up next week.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. There he is, Billy Inbody from On3. Make sure you're paying attention. $1 memberships right now over at On3. You get it for $1. It gets you through signing day, gets you through the portal stuff. So go sign up right now. It's a great Christmas gift if you're out there and you want to get a Christmas gift for someone. Get my membership over at On3 with the with Shay and Billy and their site. It's great information. Remember, we're daily brought to you by Katie's Restaurant in New Orleans. Katie's located on Iberville Street down in New Orleans. You can find them there. katiesinmidcity.com is where they're located online. Some New Orleans favorites as always. Cold beer, great service. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. now open on Sundays. Brand new televisions back there. You can watch NFL action. Stop in and see Katie's. Sister restaurant Francesca's located over in Lakeview. All the information online, katiesinmidcity.com, katiesinmidcity.com. Hadn't made as much high school football as I would like to and as I would usually do. I mean, I usually kind of get into high school football and like to go out and check it out when the playoffs start. And to be honest, I just have not been able to make it out. Today, I'm doing a segment with Eric Asher over at Inside New Orleans that we're shooting on television at 1 o'clock. And the production is a little over an hour, so I'll be in the television studio till about 2:15. And I was going to make my way over to the Dome after that and watch the 3:30 game that features Southern Lab.
I've seen Southern Lab play once this season.
Really?
Pretty good. They got a pretty good squad.
And just kind of get my first piece of high school action. Have a wedding on Friday that I have to attend, so not going to be able to make any games.
Perfect weekend for a wedding, though.
On Friday,
Yeah.
But Saturday
No football.
is jam-packed in the Dome with fantastic games. STM and LCA kick it off at 1 o'clock. That's a rematch of last year's game that went down to the buzzer. In fact, LCA lost on the last play of the game, which I had just walked into the Dome. I had just walked in.
They played already this season and went down to the wire again.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's so you're talking about a rematch within this year with LCA and St. Thomas More. Then at I want to make sure and get these times right. So let me make sure I'm pulling these up.
Okay.
I would love to see.
I got it pulled up.
You got it?
So today is 3:30 and 7, and that is Division 4 select and Division 4 non-select, which is
I still don't know the difference between select and
Me either.
non-select.
Division 4 is like 1A.
Either.
So that's Riverside and Southern Lab at 3:30, and Haynesville and Oak Grove at 7 p.m. tonight.
Okay. I might not make the 7 p.m.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the Riverside Southern Lab game, I will definitely make.
And then tomorrow it is Division 2 non-select and Division 3 non-select. So Division 2 starts today at 12. 3:30 is Division 3 non-select, and then 7 p.m. is Division 1 select.
God, Stewie, stop. Just give me the games.
It's a lot.
give
I
me
gotta
the
go
games.
back
Just
and
give me
click.
the
I
games.
gotta click through it. It is a lot.
give me the
This
games.
is
I
the,
mean,
this is the whole problem with the whole setup.
The
This is the
Division 1
problem.
select game is Catholic and Acadiana.
Okay, which is going to be a great game. Mm-hmm. And that's tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night. The Division 3 select game is St. Charles and Calvary.
And that's going to be a great game. That's two undefeated teams. I think that's the only
One
number
versus two.
1 versus number 2 in the Dome. And that's Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And then, yeah,
When is that game?
that is at 3:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
No wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Wedding.
And then Division 1 select is the final
These
game.
are, this
of
is the
day.
coup de grace. This is the big dogs.
Yeah. That's Acadiana. And
The big dogs is Zachary and Ruston.
yeah, but that's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday
Division
night.
1 non-select.
Catholic and Acadiana.
Let's see. All right. This is way too
Yeah.
much. Like they Division 1 non-select is Rustin and Zachary.
Good Lord. I mean, I got a headache.
That's what I'm saying.
Coaches, it's
I mean, really and
it's
truly.
8 divisions.
I mean,
How?
is the state of Louisiana even this big?
It's
No.
not. It's not.
I mean,
And
like, is it big enough to even do this?
And what makes it crazier is most of these these teams play in the same district.
Right,
Like,
they've already played each other.
like these teams play.
It's like a round robin tournament that ends in the dome.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'll never understand it because I don't. But it is such a disaster. Like even going through that, I feel like I was taking a test. Like I don't.
I would have failed it.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
an A.
like really, you just read that 5 minutes ago. You asked me for the Division II game. I
couldn't
couldn't
tell
give
you.
it to you if you had a
couldn't tell
gun to
you.
my head.
Me neither.
Like really and truly. Like I mean, I couldn't tell you the Division 2, 1.
I just know Division 4 because I
mean,
played.
what
in
is
it.
the games?
Right, and
Like, well, just give me the games. I mean,
but that's how it feels kind of when you go to the dome now. You're like looking around like I don't even know who's.
I don't know who's about to play.
I don't know who's about to play. Like no, it's a
Until
Division
they
4
display it on the
non-select.
screen,
Like
you
it's a
don't know.
Division 4 non-select group. Like just tell me the team names. I don't care if it's select, non-select, what division it. What happened to 1A, 2A,
so
3A,
Zachary
and
and
4A?
Ruston, Catholic and Acadiana, those teams don't want to play each other. I mean, those are 4 of the powerhouses in the state.
Split them up.
Those 4 teams aren't in the same division.
Split them up, coach.
Like, I mean,
And I don't understand 'cause that's
I'm
all
not trying to
public
take
schools.
any shine off of it, but I guarantee Brewerton wants to play that side.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Hudson Fuller at Catholic High wants to play the other side. I mean, like, why? Why?
Talk to Steve.
Why?
They couldn't.
Why?
They should just do like a.
I mean, Catholic and Ruston,
That would be-
Acadiana, Zachary.
That's
I mean,
my
like,
high school
are you
football.
kidding me? That game can't exist for the state title?
Obviously,
Why?
it cannot.
What are we doing?
Because you got
The principals voted
I think
on
it
it.
was it was the principals and it was like 1A schools like 1A schools were losing to Southern Lab every year. So they're like, all right, look, we're gonna take Southern Lab and put them in their own thing with all the public
Right.
schools and all the kids that go to Dunham or wherever they go.
They get to
Gonna
play
put-
against each other.
Yeah,
so
they get to
it's
play St.
equal
Charles Catholic
competition.
instead of playing Southern Lab every year. It's just so weird, but you know. Hey.
Because people are just getting the shit kicked out of them, and they're like, "This isn't fair."
But Southern Lab's still in the like private school
Right.
sector, so it's like y'all still got to play Southern Lab.
At some point, you're going to see them again.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And
Am I wrong? Is it Acadiana? Acadiana's a public school,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So why are they playing Catholic High?
Because like
So
last
why,
year-
like Zachary and Ruston, I get.
yeah,
Like
I
that's
don't.
two.
I guess they.
I don't think it's split up like public-private anymore.
It's not. But like
It's-
they
that's
get
why
to
it's
decide
select,
if they're
non-select.
select or non-select. Like the school
does?
decides that. Like the school gets to decide that.
You have to check a box.
Like, basically.
And this is all because, and then the principals vote on if you're in or not, I believe.
Yeah,
It-
it's weird.
I'm
It's a
telling you,
lot. We'd have to get
it's-
Steve in here to explain it to us
It's
further.
difficult to mess up
It's
a
impossible.
good It's like we were talking about Harold Perkins at
Yeah.
the beginning of the year. It's hard. It's difficult to mess a player up of that type of caliber. And at the end of the day, they really didn't. Like you saw Perkins,
Yeah.
he was so good that he could even shine on this defense. Second team All SEC, gonna be a first round pick. Guys recognized as one of the top defenders in the sport. Played on a horrific unit, but just rose above it, right? The Louisiana State football playoff championship system, before they stepped in, before the principals and stepped in and just poisoned it, was
Mucked it
one
up.
of the great products that the state had to offer. It was going to be difficult. It would be hard to screw it up. They have mastered just bungling this thing from start to finish. I mean, the fact that you can't identify games, identify divisions, why is Catholic High playing Acadiana? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's a public versus a private school. Isn't that the basis of the split?
That's what it was. And then
See,
it got
yeah, at first it was like
Public and private.
It was like just public and private because my senior year was my junior year was the first year of the split. So they split it and it was just public schools 1 through 5A and then it was private schools 1 through 5A, and they all played in the same thing. And then somewhere,
along
somehow,
the line, like
somebody
some
got
private schools were too good to be playing
like
other private
LCA
schools.
was playing in the 1A private school bracket, and it was
Sage
like
Ryan was killing kids.
right. It was like okay, like
So what are you're going to keep changing the rules
they
every
essentially
time?
like people were getting mad because
Every
LCA was
single
going back
time?
every year. They went to the state championship.
I
Like
mean, when
7
we were
years in a
coming
row.
up, Evangel rolled.
every year.
John Curtis.
They
Every
played
year.
3A. They played 4A. They played 5A. They would play anybody. I mean, like
Out
to
of
me,
state schools.
That's what you have to do. Like it should be up to LCA if they want to play up in class.
Yeah, well, it is now.
That's what they're trying to do.
Like
but
that's what it is. Like that's why LCA is like a 2A school, but they play up into a 5A
and a select
private
group
school
of
bracket of.
So that's what they're trying to do, but it just is very confusing. And the NCAA, did you see the letter from Charlie Baker, the president? Mm-hmm. He's kind of trying to do the same thing, where it seems like there's the haves and the have-nots of college football, and he wrote a letter.
At least he recognizes it.
Yeah,
He gets it.
But you're falling into a dangerous precedent with what we just went through with the high school football, where you're going to have new members trying to apply, some people trying to get out. It's almost like relegation in a sense, but
I like it.
yeah, I think that would be a better way to do it. And then whatever that is, they clearly lost their minds along the way. But for Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, suggested a new subdivision be created for institutions with the highest resources. Schools would be required to invest a minimum of $30,000 annually into an educational trust for at least half of their student athletes. Yeah, thank you. For at least half of their student athletes. Give them their books and free rent. Their average total cost per school would be estimated around $6 million. So he's like you said, he's recognizing the writing on the wall of what college football has
Gotta do
become.
something.
Yeah, I mean, but that's already what it is. I don't know why you have to put it in writing. I guess that's some way for the NCAA to be involved, where like we created the subdivision where you can pay a premium to watch the 30-minute video, or you can just watch the 8-minute trailer. It's really up to you, but at some point, it's already what we're doing. This is, I don't know why what's understood doesn't have to be explained. It's, you have the haves and you have the have-nots. Pledging $6 million a year to be able to be in this group doesn't really do anything. Like if Iowa State wants to do that, what does that get them? I guess the chance to go play in the Big 12 now. Like now you're with the big dogs every year. You're like, oh, we're committed to winning. It's still not going to get you recruits. It is what it is. It's the SEC and then like 5 other schools. It's a group of, 16 every year? Maybe?
12.
We'll see. I still think that there's going to be blowouts in the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, the 12-team playoff is going to be coach. Think about
12 versus 3?
Yeah, let's
Who
go.
is that?
Like,
who is that?
Let's look at. I'll pull up because the
3
Athletics.
is what, Texas? Number
is
12
Texas.
is
12 is Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Ole Miss
watch
would Texas would beat the brakes off Ole Miss.
You think?
And I would watch it.
Texas
I'd definitely watch it.
Texas D line is too good.
Ole Miss goes to Austin.
Yeah, Texas D line is too good. They got too many athletes. It's like LSU playing Ole Miss with a defense.
Right.
So what an
Man.
expanded 12-team playoff field would look like.
My head still hurts on that.
I know.
Coach, it is.
I mean, it's mesmerizing how bad they've screwed
Think
that
about
up.
being a high school kid when
No.
they switched it.
I can't.
And they were like, they're telling us like they the first year they switched it, it was less teams in the playoff. So like, the first year they switched it was like 16 that made it in the 1A private. So it's like if you weren't 16,
Now it's 32.
yeah, now it's 32.
But for the college football playoff, if they did a 12-team playoff this year, Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama would all be the top 4 seeds with first-round byes because you're the champion of your league.
Yeah, that's right. So the top 4 teams would get the bye.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 through 12 would be Florida State, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Missouri, Penn State, Ole Miss, and Liberty.
Florida State, Liberty at Florida State. That would be a
Wow.
that would be a
shellacking.
blowout.
The first round would start December 19th, Missouri at Oregon. I would watch that game.
Yeah, I'd watch that game too.
And then you have Saturday games, Liberty at Florida State, Ole Miss at Georgia, Penn State at Ohio State. So you'll get some run backs. And then
Georgia's already beat the hell out of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like,
yeah, you'll get some like kind of like in high school where it's like we've already played this game, but let's run it back. But it happens in any expanded playoff where, I mean, look at the NBA, like, oh, we've already seen this matchup, but that's how rivals happen, where you get that bad blood of revenge game.
Win.
Yeah. So I think it'll make for compelling television regardless if you don't think Liberty needs to be in it or not. You ain't got to watch that game. That's fine. You got plenty of options. And then quarterfinals, Washington, Penn State, Ohio State winner. And then January 1st, Alabama versus Florida State Liberty winner. Michigan versus the Oregon Missouri winner. Texas versus the Georgia Ole Miss winner. I mean, I think it's more college football for one. And I think some of these games have like a compelling matchup. Like Oregon Missouri, I think Missouri could sneak in there and win. They're good enough to beat an Oregon team.
Yeah. I mean,
Georgia Ole Miss. I mean,
Missouri
Ole Miss
would be one of
playing.
those teams in a playoff that you just wouldn't want to play.
Right. I mean, if LSU was
LSU would be one of those teams.
right, they should be
Absolutely.
12 over Liberty. That would be the conversation we'd be.
Shame on LSU.
Yeah,
I mean, really and truly. Like, I mean, LSU should be. It should be a long off season.
They should be covering their heads
up. Playoff. You look at this season. You trot that offense out there, set records, win awards, and you're got a 3-loss team.
Coach, I mean, I get on TikTok and I just get lost. I see a Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase highlight tape from LSU in 2019, and then the next video is a Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, and it's like the mirroring images. It's the same picture almost, and it's like,
and the
damn,
numbers are scary,
right? And it's like, damn, this team won a natty, and this team lost 3 games, and it looks identical. Like the
offensive output for sure,
exactly the same. Like receivers running wide open, catching fade routes, post, everything, and it's like, damn, they lost 3 games with this offense.
Well, you didn't have. I mean,
you didn't have the talent on defense.
You don't have
still.
Christian Fulton,
but
Derek Stingley, Grant Delpit, Patrick Queen.
You don't have
Chason.
A-level players everywhere, but you don't have scrubs.
Yeah,
either.
you don't have D-level players,
like,
F-level
you
players.
You shouldn't be 120th. You should not be 120th. All right, hour 2, we'll be back. Jordy Culotta Show, come back with us. Remember, every day we're brought to you by Go Roof, online at GEAUXroof.com. Our friends 225-927-8300. Residential, commercial, roofing repairs. You can get all of that with our friends over at Go Roof. They'll be up on our roof today if you get in touch with them. 927-8300, 225-927-8300, or online at GEAUXroof.com. Trusted name, been around for over 15 years, all around the community. Competitive pricing, online, GEAUXroof.com. Come back with us. Hour 2, Jordy Culotta Show, rolling on.
This man said shame on LSU. Really? Shame on LSU.
I'ma do what's best for me. You can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young, just a free.
If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about 1 buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on.
Did you do it?
Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Head health is incredibly important for our student athletes. One of the best ways we're trying to address concussions is on the front end. We're trying to prevent these before they happen. And a big part of that is speaking to the athletes, letting them know what to expect. Okay, speaking to the parents, what to look out for, talking to the coaches so they know the vital importance. Some of the big things we're looking for with a concussion, which is, a traumatic brain injury, is one, was there a mechanism? Was there an injury that took place that could lead to this? Often a direct blow to the head, a head-to-head hit. If someone's showing signs of concussion, our first step is always to remove them from activity, get them to a place where there's less stimuli, where we can really just sit down and get a feel for the athlete, what they're feeling. We're looking for headache, we're looking for dizziness, any sign that coordination is off, that something's just not right. Get a good evaluation of them to understand what's going on. It's not worth the risk that may be there to kind of ignore it, because there are very serious consequences if we don't treat a concussion properly.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Daniel Newman can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started today by calling Daniel Newman at 225-261-8262. 225-261-8262. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Again, this year, we're giving away bikes all across the state of Louisiana. In fact, this year is a record number. We're giving away 488 bikes. Go to GordonGives.com for more information and details. And look, it's not just me. It's everybody at our company across the state of Louisiana. At Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we're all participating in this process, and we're so excited to be giving away a little cheer, Christmas spirit, and everything else this time of year. So God bless. Go to GordonGives.com for more details. Merry Christmas, Louisiana.
Okay, Gordon, ready to talk a little bit about yourself today? Okay, good. Tell us, who is Gordon McKernan?
Great question. In a lot of ways, I'm just like most people. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. I am a brother. I'm a Christian. I am a Tigers fan. I am a Louisiana sportsman. But above all, I am grateful to the people of Louisiana. We want to be your lawyers for life.
Hi, I'm Gordon McKernan. Everyone has a special Christmas memory. One of mine is when I woke up on Christmas morning, ran down the stairs, and there it was, a brand new red bicycle.
That is why this Christmas, Gordon McKernan is giving away over 425 bicycles throughout the state of Louisiana.
To register, please fill out a form online at GordonGives.com or GetGordon.com. And make sure to visit the Get Gordon Facebook page for additional details and chances to win. From all of us here at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, Merry Christmas and God bless.
Offensive player of the game from LSU, Joe Burrow.
Football is life. Football is Joe Burrow.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's smell greatness from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, of December, I got niggas on the blood like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter. Hit up DJ, tell him go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jump in the ship. Only ones that really matter, who's tied to your hip. They tried to push you to the side cause they thought you would quit. May bend but never break, your cloth is legit. When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bouncing back like John Morant, you know that I'm lit. Making plays like Jack Bash, I'm never gonna sit. Had to be patient, so I waited for the situation. Now that I'm focused, I'ma take it with no hesitation. The hard times that I hated gave me inspiration. Look in the eyes from my kids gave me motivation. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show live here on this Thursday morning on our Click Here Digital campus. Remember, over at Click Here Digital, you can find them online. ClickHereDigital.com, setting your Google ads, your Facebook, social media ads, whatever you may be curious about. Digital marketing world, we're moving into it. If you're curious about it, if you have questions about it, if you need content created for you daily, we can take care of that all for you over here at Click Here Digital. Great team, 120 members under a roof here in Baton Rouge. Over 150 working worldwide remote. If you want to get in touch, let us help you out today with your digital marketing plans. Online, clickheredigital.com. Clickheredigital.com. All right, obviously football season right in the teeth of it right now, but if you're peeking at the NBA, and I don't think that a lot of people are dialed into it right now, but the Pelicans making some waves here early on in this early season play-in tournament provided by the NBA. A lot like the LHSAA format. I couldn't explain to you the NBA tournament style. I do know this, that it is causing a lot of excitement for a lot of people, man. I mean, there was a scene in Indiana the other night that looked like the playoffs with them stamping their ticket to the semis. And on one side of the bracket, you got the New Orleans Pelicans still alive. Pelicans playing against the Lakers on one side of the bracket in Vegas, and you got Milwaukee and Indiana on the other side of the bracket, and the winners will square off for the, there's a trophy on the line.
A cup.
Anytime you give competitors a something to play for, a ring, a trophy, in this case they get a trophy, and they all get $500,000. Right, wrong, or indifferent, you've given them a competitive some type of competition in the season that has really motivated them. And the Pelicans are still alive. And I'm not saying that, we're going to have a Pelicans breakdown here.
Zion's happy about the $500K.
Yeah,
he's already got, I think he's already got $250, huh? Just for if you make a semifinal appearance, you get, that's the way it was staggered. If you make it to the, the first round of the play-in tournament, whenever they started eliminating people, you got $100K. $250 and now $500 if you win the whole thing.
So it's like $500,000 total if you win it.
Yes.
Got you.
No, I think that adds up. You get $500,000 if you win the last one, but they already have checks that are going to clear.
Gotcha.
And so you get paid as you go. And from what I was, Adam Silver was talking about it on McAfee yesterday. It's they did a point differential system, kind of like international soccer, where that's why people were going nuts when Buddy Hield hit that 3 for Indiana, because they needed those points to help keep them into the playoff hunt. It wasn't just if you win or lose. It was the point differential versus a different team. So he kind of had to shoot that 3 to help them continue their playoff chances. That's why the bench went nuts. So it's cool to see the guys buy in, especially when I think a lot of the narrative is you want to get it for the 11th man on the bench that gets $500K too. It helps him, stay in the league. That's could be it could be something that puts, like you saw with Alvarado, I'm putting it towards my kid. I know the contracts in NBA are insane, but it's still, not everybody's LeBron.
Right.
Not everybody's Giannis. Not everybody's getting, or Zion, where you're getting, you're already made. You're set for life. Like there's some guys that are bouncing around the G League that are on the roster now that are, dude, this 500K is going to go a long way.
So all 30 teams were split into 6 groups and played 4 group stage games across November. 8 qualified for the quarterfinals, with 4 teams now heading for Vegas, as that is the format of the NBA play-in tournament, which will get them the cup. The NBA Cup is on the line here, and $500,000 for all the participants, and the Pelicans are alive and playing the Los Angeles Lakers. They will play that game tonight. It's going to be Milwaukee and Indiana. Tomorrow night it'll be New Orleans and L.A. But Pelicans are alive, man, and their young stars are on display. Brandon Ingram is balling right now. Herb Jones is playing really well right now. I mean, the Pelicans are they're playing at a very high level, and they're fun to watch. And the opportunity to watch them play this in-season competition, an in-season tournament will be pretty cool, as they'll have a chance to win it all if they can get past the Lakers.
And I think it's been good for teams like the Pelicans or the Pacers, where certainly in the Pelicans' case, you don't really get to see like a national conversation about them. And now when they're at their peak of their powers, like at full strength, I think they're kind of setting some waves for the league of what the Pelicans could be. When you have a healthy Brandon Ingram, a healthy C.J. McCollum, you see Herb Jones, like you see all the pieces that they have, obviously Zion, Jonas Valanciunas, like all those guys, when they play together, the team's constructed in a good way. They just never have all been healthy at the same time. So I think this is a good like national narrative for the Pelicans to be at the forefront of some of the NBA conversations when they've been an afterthought, really.
Stewie, Kimberly is requesting us play the video for Zion and Ingram last night when they were asked what they would do with the money.
It seems like vibes are high.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like this team they're all kind of like the same age.
You mentioned that you guys like to have fun. Have you thought at all about how you're going to celebrate if you're able to pull this off?
Nah, we ain't thought about it, but I know it's gonna be a good time.
B.I.S. Yes, sir.
Always
yes,
stoned?
Sir.
Always.
Always. Highest in the league?
I mean,
like he plays basketball. Like
has to. I mean,
like he smokes before a game.
He's got slits for eyes.
Like
yes.
he's Asian.
He's
almost.
always just.
I'm just here to hoop, dog.
And then just dropping 40, 30 on your head.
It's slow for him,
it's
coach.
Easier this way. Yeah, they thought Kevin Durant smoking weed was the story. I mean, you go talk to Brandon Ingram.
That man comes in the facility.
I mean,
that's B.I. That's B.I. for sure.
Just pulled up.
B.I. just pulled up, y'all.
Just got out of his car.
Before the press. All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
What's our guy for me?
Yeah. I mean, and he owns it, though. Like, he don't care.
Yeah.
And that's...
They ain't testing me for this.
I mean, New Orleans fits him perfectly.
Yeah. Laid back.
Hide out.
I can just go back to my apartment and just
nobody
chill.
knows, nobody cares. It's all good.
But they've come a long way from a month ago, where they're saying we don't know what the culture of the team is. Like they were trying to figure out themselves, and now they're up on the podium laughing together. So it seems like they figured something out.
They got a young nucleus, man.
Yeah.
They got a young
they're boys
team, right?
Like they hang out every day.
Yeah, and really they're becoming one of the most well-respected duos
in the league.
I mean, they are a tough matchup from you play this 2-man game with Ingram and Zion. They put you in situations that they're as tough a matchup as guys like, I'm just talking physically. I'm not talking about a skill set, but from the physical play, like as long as Ingram is and as, unicorn as Zion is with his physique and his ability, I mean, it takes a special tandem to be able to guard them in the league. I'm trying to think of 2-man games in the league that would rival. I mean, obviously you've got Damian Lillard and Giannis in Milwaukee. You've got Jamal Murray and Jokic in Denver. I'm trying to think of duos that play. That's meaning Booker and Durant.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess you go KD and Booker.
Oh, and Kyrie Irving, Luka.
Yeah.
If they both play.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't count on them to both play
at the same time.
I see Luka got a triple-double in the first half.
Yeah, headband Luka.
And then somebody was mad, and he was like, he's just mad because I'm busting his ass.
Yeah, we gonna say whatever.
Yeah, he does. He cursed in the post game last night. He's like,
Yeah,
fuck,
he did.
shit,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
And then LeBron AD. There's the 2-man game that can never be. And that man really sold his soul for the Lakers and bet all of his chips on his legacy with Anthony Davis.
He did. I mean,
street clothes.
Slim Pickens at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, who was there to choose from?
He couldn't get Dame out of Portland.
I think it was like the Lakers, possible return to the Heat.
He couldn't stack the deck and go to the Bucks.
The Warriors was on the table too,
Yeah.
I think, because he wanted to play with Steph.
It's another 2-man game.
Yeah. I mean, Warriors are kind of...
They're fading.
Yeah. Like, bad.
Yeah.
Don't count them out.
I mean, I'm not counting them out.
No,
but
never.
But
Draymond's still out there.
Old.
Draymond still got 5 fouls to give. Coach.
They don't care where they're one of those teams that they don't care where they, as long as they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They don't care where they end up.
Did you see Mo Wagner telling that story on, it might have been All the Smoke. It was on a NBA podcast. And he was talking about Mo Wagner's the guy out of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an international player. And he was, I believe, a rookie or a second-year guy. And he's like, I like to talk. I like to talk a lot. And he's like, they're playing in L.A. They're playing Draymond, Durant, and that Golden State Warrior team. And Wagner, shakes up
KD.
Durant, gets fouled. And as he comes down, he's like, you can't guard me. And they call a foul, and as he's at the free throw line, DeMarcus Cousins, Draymond, and KD are all talking shit to him. They're asking him. The question is, have you ever been rattled? And he's like, dude.
Oh, look, I found it.
It is incredible. Listen to Draymond Green talking to this guy while he's at the free throw line. I mean, just scaring the hell out of this kid.
Yeah, it was Durant, Draymond, and DeMarcus Cousins. Oh God, I should have just kept my mouth shut, and kept my head down. Yeah,
he knows it.
He's
got 3 free throws. I think he makes 1 of 3.
Mm-hmm. He missed 2 of 3, makes 1.
But if you can play, somebody pulled up, they found
Tom Haberstroh found it on Twitter.
Haberstroh found it. It's one of the all timers.
Pardon my take, put it up.
Yeah,
it is one of the all timers, and it's one of those athlete stories that you love. It's
the game within the game.
Yeah, right. It's stories within the game that you may not even recognize
or even know.
Yeah, you could be sitting courtside
and
you could be like, wait, what's going on? And for him to explain it, it's great.
One of the first times I matched up against Kevin Durant, and obviously, dude, I'm a huge NBA fan, right? I know all these guys from YouTube. I watch all these games at night. Franz and I would get up at night, watch these players. So all of a sudden, I'm on the court with them, and obviously, my first year, I'm a little starstruck. And Kevin Durant guards me, and I think he's not taking me serious at all. He doesn't even know who I was. And I'm on a pick and pop 3, and he fouls me. And I didn't realize it was him, and turned around and said, "Yeah, you can't guard me." And, that's crazy. I have no credibility whatsoever at this point. And it's Kevin Durant I just talked smack to.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was the Warriors. He was on the Warriors, and it was him, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins that were on the free throw line, box out, talking to me while I was shooting 3 free throws.
Oh my God.
And I'm telling you, I was so shook.
Did you make him?
I made 1 out of 3. I think there's a replay. You can see Quinn Cook on the sideline laughing his ass off because those 3 guys were going at.
Yeah, those are 3 of the worst guys to want to just.
I set myself up for that.
Haberstroh has, if you I think in maybe the comment section, or Haberstroh quote tweets it, he has the play. He tracked it down and found the foul, and all you can hear is
barking.
Draymond. I mean, Draymond is screaming at the top of his lungs.
Sorry ass.
Yeah, I mean, can't guard who? Who are you? I don't know who you are. Screaming it is awesome. Great story by Mo Wagner. Just some of what I was listening to yesterday in surfing around some podcasts. Remember Daily, we are brought to you by Hughes Mechanical, HughesMechanical.net online. Hughes Mechanical, serving your HVACs here from South Louisiana, all along I-10 corridor. They're stationed in Zachary with an office in Covington, with the ability to work all along that from Lafayette all the way up to Mandeville and New Orleans, Baton Rouge, everywhere in between. Get in touch with our friends over at Hughes Mechanical. Travis Hughes and the crew over at Hughes Mechanical. They are a trusted Daikin dealer that can help you out. Great warranty over there. 225-658-2147. 225-658-2147 is the phone number. Get in touch with Hughes Mechanical Contractors and let them take care of your HVAC services today, whether that is commercial or residential. They are the most trusted and experienced professionals that you can count on here in South Louisiana. Check them out, hughesmechanical.net, hughesmechanical.net, taking care of your services for you. All right, so as we mentioned, LSU and award season here, and these awards going to be announced Friday at the College Football Awards Banquet with Saturday culminating the big award with LSU being a part of the national award with the Heisman Trophy ceremony to be given away in New York City. Another one will be the Joe Moore Award, which we announced LSU's offensive line has been named one of 4 finalists for the Joe Moore Award, which is awarded annually to the nation's top collegiate offensive line. Tigers are joined here in this category by Oregon, Washington, and Georgia are the other finalists here. The announcement will be made coming up, as we said, on Friday, a part of the National College Football Award Show. And this is an award that LSU has taken home before, back in 2019. And if you go back to 2019 and you look at this award, Joe Burrow was playing the quarterback level at such a high level and you know, not too different than what Jaden Daniels is producing here during his magical run. But the style was a little altered as far as the comparison goes between the two, right? Burrow really was someone who understood to get the ball out of his hands under a certain amount of time, was really built on timing and you know the chemistry that he had with his receiving core, whether it was Terrace Marshall, whether it was Justin Jefferson, Thaddeus Moss, or the Biletnikoff winner in Jamar Chase. They all had the timing and you know the understanding of where each other were going to be, and the ball was there. In this particular offense, you know, that offensive line in 19, they weren't as tested, and I'm not taking anything away from them. They deserved the award. They got the award. They won the national championship, and they took it home. Just saying from the style standpoint, this offensive line feels like a true contender as far as someone in this group that really from start to finish has been the best unit in college football. You know, I think the numbers speak for itself. The awards, the accolades, what people are accomplishing on this offense, you know, is a great indicator of everybody doing their gig, everybody buying in, everybody doing their job. But, you know, for what the offensive line has done this season, I believe they are to be at least a finalist, right? If not the favorite to take home this season's Joe Moore Award. They started the same offensive line combination in 11 of 12 games this year. LSU leads the nation in yards per rush at 6.3 and has scored 32 rushing touchdowns, which ties the offensive unit for 7th nationally. LSU has only been stopped. This is a crazy stat. LSU has only been stopped for negative rushing yards on 2 designed run plays all season.
I can't even. It feels like you would be able to remember
Think about that. Think about that.
It was probably week 1, Florida State.
They're 9-3.
Yeah, that's insane.
They've played 12 football games.
Now flip the script and see how many times LSU's defense has stopped a offense.
Oh, how many tackles for loss they have?
How many tackles for loss? How many sacks? How many interceptions?
Yeah,
and that'll tell you the whole story.
Tell this one at lunch today. This will make you sound really smart. I mean, seriously, let me repeat this one. That is a big time. That's a Like, whoa. LSU has only been stopped for negative rushing yards on 2 designed run plays all year long. Like, that is an offensive line that is dominating the game. Dominating the game. The Tigers' offensive line has helped pave the way and provide protection for the only FBS team to average 200 rushing yards and 300 rushing yards per game. They're averaging 213 on the ground and 334 through the air every Saturday. The offensive line for LSU led the way for an offense that topped 40 points and 500 yards 9 times this season. LSU leads FBS in scoring, total offense, third down conversions, and plays of 20-plus yards or more, and plays of 40 yards or more, and plays of 30 yards or more. Tigers are the only team to rank in the top 10 nationally in both categories. LSU has rushed for 200 yards in 6 straight games during one stretch this season. I don't know how you do not give this offense every award just by the numbers. The individual and the team awards offensively should all go to LSU this year. Does it mean you win anything? Does it mean you win a championship? No. But on the field, this was the best offense all around. Offensive line, quarterback, receivers, they had everything elite on this offense, and they maximized it. I don't know what else you could have gotten out of this offense this season.
No. I mean, you putted, 19 times?
Is that it?
I think that's it for Jay Bramblett. I think he only had 19 punts this year, and that's what you say. You look back at it, it's like a bit of a what if, but at least it could have been for Mike Denbrock, Brian Kelly to squeeze everything out of this offense the way that they did. Obviously, you had to have it, it felt like, but that's a major coup because this year could have gone totally differently in the other way, where if you don't have an historic output on offense and a Heisman-winning quarterback and a Joe Moore award-winning line and what seems to be or should be the Blitnikoff winner, if they don't put that offense in place and Jane Daniels doesn't make that leap, you're looking at a team that won. You go from winning 10 games in the SEC West to fighting
6.
for bowl eligibility.
4.
I mean, that's the real story. Is Brian Kelly? That's a hell of a coaching job, because your defense was. I mean, you could play this game, like the what if game all you want, because you'd be like, well, what if this didn't happen on the defensive side? But it did. But I'm saying to recognize that you're deficient on defense, and then have an historic offense the way that you had and win 9 games. I mean, that's a hell of a coaching job because the spotlight was as bright as it's ever been on Brian Kelly, especially after the Florida State loss. And that thing could have come tumbling down. And
LSU never lost back-to-back games.
Yeah. I mean, people forget. I mean, it's after he comes into a program that was starved for talent and
starved for players.
For players after you were trying to spin a positive out of winning 6 games and being bowl eligible 2 years in a row. And now you're bitching about you didn't win 10 games or go to the playoff. Like that, he did that in a year. So that's give him.
Oh, I think he's getting his credit.
I think so. I mean, it didn't happen until after the year. It feels like now it's like okay, because there's still a lot.
Back-to-back 10-win seasons would help that.
It looks good on paper for him.
It looks great on paper
because it could have been like, things are getting hot in Baton Rouge, and now it's
fantastic.
Okay,
on paper.
it's stretching up.
Knowing where they came from.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though, on Kelly. Kelly has called down year 3. He is the one that has marked year 3 as the mile marker in which you can really judge the program under his direction. And, you're a game away from year 3. So, I mean, that's the season that everybody has pinpointed. That's the season he's looked at. And, here he is. Here's the program kind of pulling up to year 3, with a game left before you get there, in a game that they should be heavily favored.
Highly blessed.
I mean, in a sunshine-soaked Tampa versus Wisconsin.
What do you think made him circle year 3? Just his calling Carter's offensive line, knowing what he had on.
I think if you look at the past, if you look at the history of LSU coaches, all of them have won their championships in year 3, right? Like Saban won his, Third year, Ogeron won his, Miles won his. I mean, that is kind of the timeline it takes for a college football coach to get into a program, recruit the program to the standard that they need it recruited to, be able to kind of install the basic principles and fundamentals of the program and have them in motion, have them taking shape. So, I think it's kind of a fair evaluation point for programs that you take over that need rehauls, rebuilds, reloads. And from LSU's standpoint, that's kind of what they needed from Brian Kelly. They needed a shakeup, a reset. And where they are now, back-to-back 10-win seasons, recruiting at a high level, it feels like next season, is a fair point to kind of stop and say, all right, like let's judge this thing. Let's grade it.
Yeah, because you should have your own players, coaches, everything that you would want by year 3. You can't really make
everything should be set.
Right. You shouldn't need much more time to have your plan in place, the path, what have you. Like if it hasn't taken by now, it's not going to take. I don't know if he saw this alignment and the expansion of the SEC coming, because the 2024 schedule does him no favors.
None.
We have LSU starts off with USC, Nicholls, UCLA, South Alabama.
Serious.
That's your out-of-conference schedule.
Did they release the full schedule yet?
No, not with the dates, but I have the full schedule.
I saw. I think Georgia's got leaked.
Yeah, I've actually seen a leak of the schedule, and Southern USC on September 1st, September 7th, Nicholls at South Carolina on September 14th, UCLA at home on September 21st, South Alabama at home September 28th, open date on October 5th, Ole Miss at home on October 12th, at Arkansas on October 19th, at Texas A&M on October 26th, open date, Alabama at home on November 9th, at Florida November 16th, home versus Vanderbilt on November 23rd, and then day after Thanksgiving playing Oklahoma at home.
Oklahoma, new quarterback, first time in Death Valley.
That game could mean a lot, or it could need very little.
Yeah.
Wait, is the 30th? Let me just see something real quick. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're over here breaking news.
Yeah, I got the full schedule.
I feel dirty.
Yeah, I feel kind of dirty too. I like it.
I guess if Georgia's leaked, then you can kind of put the pieces together of what the schedule would look like. You're going to play your non-conference games first, and then you can kind of build the schedule out backwards from you can reverse engineer it with Georgia's schedule. So this is just using the information that was presented.
That's a hell of a schedule, man.
That's a hell of a schedule.
I mean, that is a
murderer's row.
Woo!
And that's what got me thinking about year 3. I don't know if he knew that this was going to happen.
No, I doubt he knew it would be like that. It would be presented to him like that. But he had to know that any way you slice it, any way you cut it, it's gonna. I mean, you're gonna have to go through hell to get there.
Yeah, I mean, he knew Texas and Oklahoma was coming in the conference,
right?
So,
and I guess you got the better draw with Oklahoma next year.
Yeah, in their first year.
You lose Dylan Gabriel. Oklahoma they beat Texas, and then after that, they kind of petered out.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I mean, you have Brent Venables, but they got to go and get a quarterback, I'd imagine.
Who, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
No, they have Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, that's
Jackson Arnold.
That's why Dylan Gabriel.
That's why they're telling Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, okay.
Like, see ya, dog.
Yeah.
And who's their offensive coordinator?
Well, it was just Jeff Lebo. I mean,
right.
Jeff Lebby.
Jeff Lebby. But he just took the Mississippi State job.
So I don't know if that's contingent on when you have such a defensive-minded head coach.
You got to have a good offensive.
You got to have a good offensive coordinator
because the defense is going to defense.
Yeah,
they got players though. He can recruit.
Oh yeah,
they've been recruiting well.
But I just don't think he
Seth Luttrell.
I don't know who that is. Never heard that name before.
Maybe we will.
Never heard Matt Eberflus either. He was the coach of the Bears.
We have a Seth Luttrell, Joe John Finley, a co-coordinator.
Ouch.
That's never good.
Co-OCs, eh? What position?
Run it, pass it.
What position does...
Luttrell's the offensive line coach.
Okay, so they're going to probably run the ball first.
Ugh,
who's the other
tight ends coach?
Oh, yeah, they're going to be running the football. Let's go.
It's a Les Miles special right there.
Well, Les Miles special was the co-defensive coordinators.
Because Doug Marone and not Doug.
No, it was Bradley Del Pivito.
Yeah, it was Peeve and
wasn't he the special teams coach?
He was co-DC. Then they scrapped it in the middle of the year.
Yeah,
that's a disaster. Then co-OC, co-DC, co-anything.
It was a less special.
They say, look, you'll have two people to blame.
How do we fuck this up?
Yeah, right? Coach the defense.
I tell you what you should do, Les.
Hire more people.
You got the defending national champs.
If you hire more people, less responsibility. more people to put the blame on.
He hired Gary Croton, the Wizard.
The Wizard. He was the Wizard.
He was.
He lost his powers.
The offensive coordinator. He stripped him of his powers. And he lost Pelini after the Natty to Nebraska. And that's when he elevated within. The defending national champs. Anybody in the country would have taken the job.
Yeah, and
I mean, like, anybody in the country. You had, 2008 defense was the number one. They had the second overall pick, the top DBs, and Tyson Jackson was on that defense. Derry Beckwith was on that defense.
Got some
Drake Nevis was a young stud on that. They were loaded on that defense. And Miles could have hired anybody in the country, and he decided to go with somebody in-house. Two of them in-house.
Doug Mallory and Bradley Del Pivito.
Doug Mallory.
I couldn't throw a dart and hit Doug Mallory if I didn't look it up.
Doug Mallory and Bradley Dale Pivito.
Wow. Bradley Dale Pivito made his way back to LSU after that.
That's right.
Like you said, anybody in the country would have taken that job. I'm just trying to figure out who would have been.
Where's my boys at?
Yeah, who would have been a hire that you could have gone to go get?
There's a car on fire on Segan Lane right now.
Sweet.
Yeah. Welcome to BR.
But
I'd had an experience.
That's where you get a little nervous about co-OC, co-DC.
Traffic? No,
Segan, I told you your dreams go to die.
Drugs are rampant in BR. Just know that.
What happened?
At Circle K across the street from Tigerland.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was getting gas.
Bro.
Coach.
This place has been a hit spot since the 70s.
Yeah, they don't even lie about it anymore.
I have not seen that much change in so long. There was so much change on the counter.
Paying in cash?
No, yes. It's paying in cash, getting a drink. So the cashier
dimes and nickels?
Yes, the cashier's trying to count the change while she's getting the drink.
80 cents.
Goes outside, and my car is parked next to hers. I look in the car, all I see is a cloud of smoke, but I did not smell
that smoke.
That smoke that I'm used to smelling. I was like, all right, I need to get from around here.
I wouldn't imagine she got very much food.
Yeah. Oh no, she's got a little pop from Circle K.
That's what I'm saying. That definitely,
$1 of gas.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Back on the road, baby.
40 cents in regular. I need that honey bun and this Dr. Pepper.
Hell, I'm still doing that.
We get a pop.
Yeah. If I bring my cup in, can I refill it for free?
I bring my own cup.
Yeah, I've seen people pull that move where they walk in with the cup, fill it up,
and leave out.
Well, it's my cup.
Yeah, what are you talking about? How much you paying for that syrup over there?
They said refills free.
Bro, you got that cup in 2008. You've been coming in here for 8 years.
Hey, bro, this place is... Baton Rouge deserves its own documentary.
Oh, dude, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that.
Behind the scenes of Baton Rouge.
Scare you. Oh gosh, the leadership alone. All right, make sure to have a great day, great Thursday.
Portal news?
Who?
When are we going to get some portal news for? When does this end?
It can't last that long.
They got people driving through the grass on Seagull Lane right now.
We got to get to work, Coach.
But I can't imagine that the portal news will, because you got to find a home.
The big guys.
Signing day is what, next week? Or
December 20th?
Yeah,
Is
week
it
after
20th?
next.
Yeah.
So we got to find a home before
Yeah,
signing day.
well, there's good, 1,500 people in the portal right now?
Mhm.
Ain't 1,500 jobs, I know that.
Wow. Hit that like button, share button, comment button, subscribe if you have not done so. We appreciate you being here for this Thursday edition of the show. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Closes January 2nd.
Hey, Chino, put my headphones up, bro. Right there. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next? Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah, Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time, yeah. Hey, Chino, put my headphones up, bro. Right there. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them.